sense of where we are. And because of that reality, we're not able to really have a good understanding as to why we're where we are. For example, if we use a source like family or friends to be the gauge or the barometer that is to tell us or to be indicative of where we are, then sometimes those gauges can be sometimes not the best tool to use in terms of really understanding where I am. Perhaps I'm taking some courses that I really don't like, and perhaps I'm going through this, but perhaps it's on the way to somewhere else. Perhaps where I am, it's what I need to get in order for me to be better, for my future to be brighter, for me to be able to go through some things. And then as I'm going through these things, it's important for me to be able to use the proper source for translating where I am. If I'm in a course and I'm not really happy about it, well, if I begin to use the proper source, one source for me to use might be for me to recognize that this, where I am, and the courses that I'm taking is going to help me, strengthen me for where I need to go. What would it be like to just be promoted into a next realm and not be able to operate at that realm? That would be an uncomfortable experience. But to be able to get the tools that we need to be able to be strengthened, to be developed, educationally, so we can have the academic wherewithal to be able to succeed at that next level. I know that many of you are just like me. You want to go to that next level, but what is it like to go to the next level if I don't have the preparation to be at that next level? I want to be able to get whatever it is that's necessary to help me to have a future that is bright. So be sure to translate where you are by using the accurate and the proper sources. The second thing that I want to hold up for us this afternoon is your interpretation of where you are can impact your outcome. If you have an outlook about your future or about where you are and it's very dim and it's very grim, then that can certainly influence the outcome. So I need to be positive about where I am, understanding that I'm in transition. Now the third thing is the lens through which we see our situation can reflect positives or negatives. I know that there are others of you in the room that wear glasses, and the lens through which we see the glasses that I have may yield a very different portrait than the one that the professor has. The way I'm looking through my situation can determine my outlook and what I see. So I've got to make sure that the lens through which I'm looking to see the world and my situation is a good and proper lens. So I need to make sure that the lens is certainly proper. If not, I need to do one of those numbers where I go to lens crafters, get eyeglasses in about an hour and say, hey, I need to do this from another kind of standpoint and make sure that I make the adjustment. The other thing that we need to know is consider where you are as seasons that can change through diligence and hard work. Understand that where you are is not a permanent place, it's a temporary place. And the length of stay in the place that we're at can be determined by our diligence and our hard work. We can either prolong it, or we can simply say that I'm going to do the best of my ability to work hard, work very diligently to get through this experience and understand that seasons change. Another season is upon us as fall is about. Seasons change from summer to fall. And just as from winter to spring, there are seasons in our life, and you're not going to be in the season that you're in always. But what you do in the current season is going to determine how quickly you're able to move through the process. So it's important to recognize that seasons do change. And if we work with diligence, we can make a big difference. I'm real big on illustrations. Persons that go to the church that I pastor know that I'm really huge on illustrations. So allow me to just illustrate to us today. Can I just say, for the purposes of my background, because my background is being a pastor, if you don't mind, I'd just like to refer to this illustration as a subway ministry. Is that okay? Subway ministry. One thing about a subway ministry that I want you to recognize that's very helpful for us to underscore this conversation today is to recognize that when you're on a subway, much of what is happening is underground. The subway is moving, but the people on top of the ground don't see what's happening underneath the underground. What I want to suggest to you people today is to recognize that oftentimes where you are, other people don't understand it. But I want you to recognize that even though they can't see what you're doing and see the benefits from being in a course that maybe they felt that you shouldn't have been in, or maybe you don't even feel that you shouldn't have been in. One thing that I want you to understand about the subway ministry is that even though you're underground and no one really is able to see, you're still moving. you're still moving forward. And that's a very